a vino.
It's just the worst though. Like you gotta like
It's fragrance free.
all the time. Oh, and we're already on.
Oh, fragrance free.
Alrighty.
You got to take care of yourself.
Gotta exfoliate too.
Yeah.
There's your Wednesday Wellness. Have a great week. All right, so we're here with Dimora and Grace. They are two juniors, pretty awesome people out there. We're talking about who's in control. Like, are we talking about school? What are we talking about? So, Grace, you do pretty well in school, right?
Yeah.
Is it purely all just luck?
No.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
No.
So what is it? How is it that you do so well?
I put a lot of work in. I spend a lot of late nights doing homework, studying. I take a lot of time out of every day to, do the work that I need to succeed.
Your grades, your future are important to you?
Yeah,
And because of that, you invest a lot of time in it.
a lot of time.
A lot of time. How much time are we talking about?
Oh gosh, probably like 4.5 hours a night.
Okay.
I lose a lot of sleep. It's not good, but yeah.
I would never know, Grace.
Sleep's important too, but it's good that you have that investment
Yeah.
and kind of mindset too. What about you, Dimora? You've always been very hardworking. Are you putting in a lot of time outside of school?
Yes, like a lot of time. My family might say a little bit too much time. Like Grace, 4, sometimes 6 hours a night, because I really, just the way my brain works, it takes like a lot for me to really understand a topic. So I usually have to put in a little bit more time to really grasp what I was trying to learn. So a lot of
Okay.
time. Yeah.
That's fair. I would argue to both of you and all of you out there that you still need to have fun and have downtime. Otherwise, your brain is not going to relax enough to go into REM sleep and transition things from short to long-term memory.
That's a very good point. So it's test day. It's not. Don't worry. It's not. This is not a test.
Not a test.
Say it is test day. Do you feel confident when you get to a tougher question or you are on the test that like you have put in the time to be prepared?
If I'm being real, sometimes no. Sometimes questions throw me for a loop, but honestly, I feel like if you take the mindset of learning to understand and not learning to memorize, you should be able to solve any question.
Sure,
So
and adapt.
it'll come to me. I might have to stare at it for a couple of seconds, but it'll come to me soon.
We've talked before about a couple of physics questions where after the fact you're like, well, what was that one even all about and asking?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting that even with all that prep work, you still sometimes will get to a question though, but you're not saying the whole test. You're like, what is any of this?
Yeah.
It's like specific individual questions.
Yeah.
You also hear something in her answer too, the ownership of someone who's used to getting a lot of A's. It's one question. It's the difference between getting like a 94 or a 98. It's not like, I'm just going to hope for the best and see where things go. What about you, Grace, when you get to a test? Is it one question? Is it the whole thing? Or are you like, you know what? I put in the time. I got this.
I feel like it's usually one question or like one section because it's always a section that I thought I knew the best, so I didn't study it as much as the others, and then that's the section I don't know how to do, and I'm like, I should have like predicted this, and it's the worst feeling.
Quick review. Remember, it's always better to be able to apply your knowledge than just memorize it. So I feel like with your answer specifically, Dimora, you said you'll get to a problem and you'll go, I know how to do this, but I need to stare at it for a second. And I think that's taking what doesn't fit into my study box and how do I get it there, right?
Yeah.
So that's that application process.
Yeah.
And that really is about control. So you can't control what's on the test. You can practice all you want, but who's in control of the situation? That studying, all those things are really important. In sociology, we just took a test over conflict theory, and that really is about control. And sometimes you're not in control.
So let's talk about it outside of school, outside of classes. Do you always feel like you're in control of all situations?
I like to think I am. I definitely try my best to be, but there definitely are times where I feel like I'm kind of like flailing around or like I'm drowning and I need like a life vest or something. But I try my best to stay calm and have a grasp on everything.
It is difficult at times of all of our lives, and even as adults, where you feel like you are drowning sometimes and you just need to get to that next thing or find that one success to kind of move on. What about you, Dimora?
I try my best. I would like to say I'm pretty in control. I like to stick to a very strict schedule. Like I usually have my week planned out before
Wow.
it is even come up, because I don't like to be thrown for a loop at all. Like I hate surprises, so I try to stick to a schedule. And if they're not sticking to my schedule, then I kind of have to go off and do my own things. I like being in control of what I do.
Okay, so let's build on that. What do you do when something you can't control influences what's going on in your world? So you just told us you go off on your own, but what if that's not the option?
It's honestly, it's hard for me to like really calm myself down from stuff like that. Usually I just have to learn to adjust, because that's the only option you have, and then just try to work it in and maneuver it around to where I can do what I want to do, but still cater to what I have to do.
Now I know you're about to start a new club here. So
Tomorrow, which is yesterday for you.
For you
Yes.
guys.
Thank you for coming.
If you were there, thank you.
But if not, you still have time.
Be
Reach
there.
out to Dimora or Miss
Yes.
Ott, right?
Yes.
Or Miss Ott. So my question is, it is a mental health club, and so we're talking about strategies to be successful, kind of like a toolkit, if you
Yeah.
will. So now we've got a situation. You're out of the control seat. You have to give up control a little bit. What strategies do you employ to center yourself, to calm yourself back down?
I really I weigh my pros and cons. I just take a step back and I'm like, okay, this isn't as bad as you think it is. You're not losing as much time as you think you are. I really just have to tell myself positive things, because if I don't, then I'm just gonna derail completely. So I have to just really remind myself that it's gonna be fine and you'll have time to do whatever you need to do. And it's important with balance. You need to be able to adjust in life. It can't always be just about what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it. So it's really important to learn how to adjust to situations, to me.
That's wonderful. Now I have one more follow-up question, and then let's move into Grace getting some mic time here too. But as an athlete, specifically tennis, what do you do? Because that's really out of your control, whether it's the weather, the wind, all of those things. And do you handle athletics differently than you handle life? Because everything you're saying sounds like you're rigid in your personal life and school, but I know in sports you can't really be that. So how do you balance those two things?
I honestly separate myself. Like when I'm in school and when I'm just in my personal life, I do me. But especially when it comes to a team sport, you really have to understand that you need to adjust. Like there is no option of being able to do what you want to do. You need to be able to do what you have to do. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I honestly just suck it up. My mom always told me that's a part of life. You have to just suck it up sometimes.
That is probably the best adult advice we can give you, is sometimes you just got to suck it up.
Grace, president of Club WE,
Yes.
Women's Empowerment. What's something you do to help with your strategy, you do to help with your mental health?
I find a lot of solace in talking my feelings out. So sometimes if I don't have someone to talk to, I will voice memo. I will talk to myself, talk to my phone, and I will go back and listen to it, and I'll be like, wow, I sound kind of crazy right here. Here's what I need to do to fix this mindset. And my friends check me a lot. Like if I go to talk to them about something, like they give me a reality check, and it's what I need.
I love that you have a good support structure. There are often text messages between Mr. Schmidt and I where we go, am I crazy, or
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you're reasonable, but maybe look at it this way. And having good friends like a Mr. Schmidt to keep you in your navigational beacons is important.
Yes.
We've been going a pretty good time. There's a lot of great things here. None of the people here are perfect. That's
No.
good to keep in mind. There is success, but there's also a lot of struggle that you hear in it and figuring things out and adapting and learning. Hopefully you found something beneficial from what they had to say, because we'll be back next week with some more. Thank you, Dimora. Thank you, Grace.
And remember, it's best to be a Bengal. Have a great Bengal day.
Roar!
Roar!